Welcome to Innovating with Scott Amyx. This is your host, Scott, and today I'm joined by Stefan Batory, who is the co-founder and CEO of Booksy. Welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, so my understanding, Stefan, is that you actually run ultra marathons, which means that it's really anything that's longer than 26.2 miles, which is a traditional marathon. So my question for you is, what was the longest and the most grueling ultra marathon that you ran?
The longest and most grueling was Marathon des Sables. It's considered the toughest foot race on earth. It's 6 back-to-back marathons on Sahara Desert in self-sufficiency formula. So basically you have to carry a backpack with food and all the supplies, basically everything you need to survive a week in a desert.
May I say that that's just outright crazy? Now, you're also running in the desert as well. I mean, this is survival is hard enough, but you're running at a pretty moderate pace. And how long does it take it for you to actually complete this entire thing? And my real question is, what was the mental mindset when you were going through this?
I guess the most difficult thing was actually to prepare for that, and both physically but also mentally. And completing it, I guess, splitting that or dividing that into smaller pieces. Like every day we had a pretty long stage to cover, but I always broke it down like I'm going to run to this next dune, or I'm going to run to this next palm tree. So basically I just split that into dozens of smaller stretches, and that like allowed me to complete that in a fairly good mental state. Otherwise, I guess I would just get depressed if I had thought about mileage I would have to cover that was still ahead of me.
Well, I think that's a really great metaphor for entrepreneurship. And you've been a serial entrepreneur most of your life. You ran your own development shop. And as part of that, you've also launched a taxi hailing startup as well before launching Booksy. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I became an entrepreneur exactly 20 years ago, and that was kind of random by accident. A group of friends, we just decided to launch our first software development shop, and we had no idea how to run a business. So for 2 years, we not even didn't make any money, but we actually lost a couple $100,000 and made a lot of debts. So I had to eat potatoes for the first 2 years, literally 6 days a week. I ate potatoes only. That was the only thing I could afford at the time. But then we learned how to run business, and that was actually one of the fastest growing companies in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, ranked by Deloitte. And after running that company for 12 years, I decided to launch a taxi hailing app to learn something new, to learn how to build a marketplace, because running a software development house, basically you sell time, and to double revenue every year, we had to double our headcount. So at some point, I decided it's not scalable anymore, having over 200 developers with iTaxi. And that showed me the power of network effects and how important it is to build something that has network effects built in. And Booksy was just the next step. It's a very similar concept to taxi hailing, except you add one more dimension, which is time, because typically people want taxis here and now, and with appointment scheduling, they need it, let's say, for tomorrow at 3 p.m. So that was, long story short, that led me to starting Booksy. However, that exact idea, I got it from my very own problem, because ramping up my mileage when I was getting ready for Marathon des Sables, I couldn't schedule an appointment with my physiotherapist. I usually completed my workouts late night, sometimes even after midnight. And there was no way I could schedule an appointment with him if I had pain in my muscles and I needed to see him. So sometimes it took us even a few days to schedule that appointment, going back and forth with phone calls and text messages. I was always busy and put my phone on mute. And when he was giving people a massage, he was not able to take my calls. So that's why I started thinking how to solve that problem. And that triggered the idea to launch Booksy.
Yeah, so I find it fascinating because Booksy's really kind of core focus is really around beauty service segments, right? So it's whereas hairstylists, salons, but also extended to spas and pets and
Mhm.
so forth. But it's this notion of service providers, and then of course the actual clients that are looking to book those appointments. Um, that's really interesting. But the natural question that comes up is, aren't there other appointment or scheduling apps that are out there, and why is Booksy different?
There is a number of reasons. There were actually quite a few competitors when we decided to launch Booksy, but all of them were providing desktop interface for salons to use it. And because of that, they had focus on higher end salons, hiring multiple staff. And majority of people who work in this vertical in the US are independent contractors, solo entrepreneurs. You don't even realize it, but when you walk into a barber shop or a hair salon, there is 60 to 70% chance that they are not employees working on commission, but independent stylists just renting chairs in that shop. So we decided to focus on that segment, which is actually majority of the market. And for that, we've always taken this mobile first approach.
Yeah, I think that's really fascinating, because when we think about SaaS and what SaaS is really great for, and this is something that we saw early on with Salesforce.com, is that it used to be that traditionally it was around enterprise sell. You go with the largest accounts, go from top to bottom. SaaS allows for you to get down to, like you say in your case, the freelancers, the independent contractors, the 1099s, and it keeps it lightweight and simple and easy and affordable. So tell us about the kind of the initial attraction and what really helped Booksy to take off.
So the first thing that helped us to take off was our mobile first approach, because going after those independent contractors, they don't even have computers at their shops, but everybody carries their phone with them. So we put a very powerful tool that fits their pocket. So it's like a mini CRM and ERP system that allows them to manage all of their business, not only their calendar and scheduling, but also their clients. It's a marketing automation, inventory management, point of sales, commissions for employees if they have any, and so on and so forth. So that was the first thing. The second one was to align our business model with their needs. There were a lot of competitors that tried to charge them per appointment. And while it might work for ride hailing or restaurant bookings, where there is like a lot of random traffic and people, like it's virtually impossible to get the same driver when you call Uber. People are very loyal in this industry, and 80% of appointments come from repeat clients and only 20% come from new clients. So stylists and barbers, they didn't want to pay for the existing clients to book with them. So we adapted our business model to align with their needs. And last but not least, it was superior customer service. A lot of competitors in the SaaS space, they try to stay lean, which makes a lot of sense with such low tickets. But at the same time, like those people, they don't really have time to figure out how to run that software. They don't have time to learn it. They just need instant support. So we've always provided them 24 hours, 7 days a week support with live humans behind it. There is always somebody they can call. There is always somebody they can reach out to and get an immediate answer. So the mix of those three things, I believe that's something that made us so successful, that put us in the number one position across all of the markets where Booksy operates in.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I wanted to go back to the pricing, the monetization model, and I think it's a really great point that you made, is that you really try to understand the psyche and how the business model works for the actual stylist, in this case, as an example. So how do you actually then charge? Is it based on new clients, or is it based on a monthly SaaS subscription model?
So basically, that's a monthly SaaS subscription. So they pay us $30 per month, and regardless of how many clients they have, they can use it and pay us flat fee. On top of that, we have additional offering for them, and if they are interested in getting new clients, then we just charge them one-time fee. It's a lead generation fee for bringing them new clients, but that's an opt-in. So if they have a loyal client base and they don't need any new clients, that's all they pay us, just $30 per month. But if they are new, if they want to grow their business, then we can help them to do so. And it's a very fair model for them, because a lot of them don't even know how to use AdWords or Facebook ads, and how to calculate, CPMs, click-through rates, and so on. And we give them a very fair model. Like, when we bring you a client and that client pays you, we'll just charge you one-time commission. And anytime that client comes back, it's your client, and you'll never pay again for that client.
Yeah. So again, this recurring notion that you're really thoughtful about how you price it and how you do business, and making sure that there's always a perceived higher value add in that transaction model. Let's talk a little bit about how you help these businesses or independent contractors to grow their business. You started to mention some of the modules and of course the lead gen capability. So appointment setting is one thing, but really you're doing much more than that.
Yeah, we are giving them much more than that. But before I dive into details, like, there is something that literally blew our minds when we started getting feedback from the very first users that started using Booksy. We knew we were building a great business tool for them to help them run their business, minimize number of no-shows, help the existing clients to book with them more frequently, and basically drive their top line. But what I did not realize when we started Booksy is how much impact we would have on their daily life, not only on their business, but also on their personal lives. So there is not a single day we are not getting amazing feedback from them, saying that thanks to Booksy, they finally have time to eat lunch and lead healthy lifestyle, or that they can now spend more time with their families, with their friends, enjoy their life. We even got an email for saving his marriage, because his wife is a stylist, and before Booksy, she was always spending countless hours on replying to text messages and direct messages and returning phone calls. And now, since she started using Booksy, she finally has time to spend with her husband, and they can go out for dinner or to movies. We even had one guy who called us, and he was live streaming from a hospital where his wife was giving a birth to their child, and he said that they were able to have that child because of Booksy, and he did not stream it to his family. He called us because he said Booksy is his family. Like, he had such emotional. He was such emotional about that. And literally just last week, I got a text message from a barber saying that Booksy literally saved his life, and thanks to Booksy, he's able to support his family. He just got a new house, 2 kids, and a new car. And the barber shop he was working at caught on fire and burned down. So all of the other barbers that were not on Booksy, they lost all of their clients, because they had to move to different barber shops, and their clients didn't know where they went to. And he was the only one that had Booksy, so he was able to blast all of his clients and tell them that, like, hey, as of today, I'm working at this new shop. And majority of his clients followed him, and thanks to that, he was able to support his family. So we are getting like amazing stories from our existing merchants, existing service providers, saying how much Booksy impacted their life and helped them not only to grow their business and to be successful as entrepreneurs, but also how much we help them to have better lifestyle.
Yeah, that's those are some incredible testimonies. I mean, it's kind of hard to refute that in terms of some of the fact that you're ultimately giving people control of their schedules, and the fact that they can actually have safe zones and certain block areas where they work, and they're available to their clients, but also available to their families and some other personal pursuits. So thank you again for sharing that. I want to transition to talk a little bit about your potential competitors. So there are AI virtual assistants that are maturing, and Google Duplex, as an example, actually demonstrated calling into a salon, I believe, to schedule those appointments. How are you positioned as virtual assistants become more sophisticated?
I think that will be just another channel for Booksy. Like, we've already integrated with Reserve by Google, with Yelp, with Instagram. we are actually starting another integration project with another partner. And I think those virtual assistants, they will be just part of what Booksy is offering. We just embed all the channels and provide booking peace of mind. So no matter if you would rather use an app or a website or one of those partners that I mentioned, or a voice assistant, you will be able to use Booksy. And on the stylist end, like everything will be funneled into their calendar, no matter what platform people choose to use. So we are constantly innovating and looking for new channels and new media types. We are also working with a partner on a chatbot. So it's hard to predict what people will be using in the next few years, but we want to make sure that we are ready for whatever comes.
Terrific. So, which brings me to talk a little bit about your product roadmap. What's kind of coming up, and also I think one of the things that's I'm sure you already addressed it, or maybe you will address it, is do you provide a kind of a forecast, quarterly or annual forecast around based on the recurrence of some of these appointments? What's kind of the expected annual salary or income that they can generate?
It's great that you mentioned that. That's actually one of the projects we have in our roadmap. So the way we are seeing ourselves is not only as a tool, but we are an usher, and we want to help those service providers to be more successful, and we want to guide them how to be successful, how to run their business in a much efficient way, when to raise prices, when to go after new clients, how to take care of their existing clients, how to make sure that they have higher retention. So we are now working on a set of tools that will help them to understand their business better, not only from the past performance, but also looking into the future and kind of predicting what will happen if they do this or if they do that. It's kind of like with credit score. I'm new to the US, and I moved in here 2 years ago, and that was actually something that inspired me, because we know that a lot of those solo entrepreneurs, a lot of them are single mothers, a lot of them are they love their work, they love to make people happy and make them look great, but a lot of them don't have business education. So we want to guide them, and we want to help them to be better and successful business people.
Well, I love the motto and the mission statement. So thanks for sharing that. I want to talk about something that's a little bit different, which is that you're one of the few unicorn startups coming out of Poland. So if you could just kind of talk to us a little bit about the first early formidable years for Booksy and how you grew, and now you've actually relocated to the US, and what it's like to be Polish American, running such a big, successful startup.
So we started a little bit over 5 years ago, and initially we managed our business from Poland, and we launched 6 international markets. And when US became the biggest and the fastest growing one, so a little bit over 3 years ago, we decided to launch an office in Chicago, and we started hiring people. Today we have nearly 100 people working here in the US. So 2 years ago, I decided to move in to the US, because that's the only way to build a team and to set the culture to be with that team, and not to manage it remotely, which is extremely difficult, especially when it's such a fast growing company, doubling or tripling the business and the team size every year. So that was the main reason for me to move over to the US. I guess there were a lot of small things I had not anticipated when I was moving in here, kind of like things like credit score, getting a credit card and bank account, a car loan, that surprised me. But in a way, I'm really happy and grateful that I've went through that, because that also helped me to understand some of the challenges our service providers are facing, and that helps us to build a better product. And at the same time, I'm grateful that we originated from Poland, because Poland is known for one of the best countries in the world for engineering talent, among other nations like Chinese and Russians. Polish developers are ranked in top 3 in most international competitions. So we have access to amazing talent in Poland, and we've always had those great developers, but because of our history, there was always not enough talent on the business side. So I'm really grateful that now we are able to join both teams, the US team that has amazing experience working for companies like Groupon, Amazon, Zillow, Google, or eBay, with amazing engineering talent that we have out of Poland, and that creates a great mix, and we believe that transferring and mixing those two different cultures is actually something that will set us for the success.
Great, really, truly inspiring. So today I've been joined by Stefan Batory, who is the co-founder and CEO of Booksy. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you, Scott.